All right, guys, I hope you guys are ready. So, we're going to be giving you guys a lot of information. We got one topic in mind, but the thing is, we want to make these videos very diversified and just give a lot of information. So, this is an impromptu video. We were literally at Starbucks and the Wi Fi was slow. So, we're like, let's go make a video. So, and that's the main thing I love to do. So does Fausto. So, here we are, and we're in his living room. Impromptu.
Welcome.
I actually really love the setup. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna try to stick to one subject, give our understanding, our perspective in that realm, and just bounce off those ideas. So we were like, what should we talk about? And I was like, I don't know, happiness. It's like, yeah, it's a pretty good one because it's a big realm. There's a lot of areas to it, but happiness. I want to ask you, what's happiness to you, and what's happiness to you, man?
Well, welcome back, guys. My name is Luis Fausto. I'm glad to be doing this, man. Get comfortable. I'm comfortable. If you're watching this, get comfortable. But what's happiness to me, man? You asked me earlier when we were at Starbucks, and I said happiness is finding that good state, right? That comfortable state. You're not stressed. You're not anxious. You're not worried about external things, internal things. You're just calm. Like, literally, like the best way I could explain it, happiness is calmness. Because even though life is crazy, you have to find the calm in the storm, right? So that's very vague and very broad to say, just calmness. But
have you read the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle or something?
I haven't, bro. I haven't.
It's a good book. It's about mindfulness and presence, consciousness, about just the present, the being in the now. And what you said about the state of being, that is essentially when your mind and your body are one. And it's like when your mind is positive thoughts, and your body chemically feels comfortable, right? It's like it's not overwhelmed with cortisol, which is the hormone for stress, and it's not like bombarded like that. So in that book, the reason I brought it up is because that book, he's like, you have to, he doesn't give the science, but we like neurology and the psychology of it. He says that when your mind and your body become one, you enter a state of being. Now we enter many states of beings, but like you said, the calm one, the tranquil one. I think it was Naval. He said, "I just want to be. I just want to be. State of being, being." So
that's one thing you asked me too. Is like, is it the state of being that you like? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even hear what you said at first, but it's interesting that you say that. Just because I think happiness is like one of the biggest pillars to find in life, because from a personal experience, obviously, I think it's going to become personal once we start talking about what happiness means to us and then what it can mean to you. But I think a lot of people, I don't want to generalize, but personally, I held on to love as something external, and which is not bad. Like, you can have love externally. Like, I love my girlfriend, I love my friends, I love my family, right? Those are all external. But at the end of the day, it's like, we hear all the time, but it's almost like, who do we believe, like, self-love? But what is self-love? They don't teach you at schools what self-love is. They don't teach you anywhere what self-love is unless you have a will to go learn what your self-love is. And it's all subjective. The thing is, like, your self-love can mean something different than someone else's self-love. Like, you love yourself because of what? There's always a because. So personally, after I got comfortable with being aware and got comfortable with the criticism, like, dude, like this and this and this and this, right? Like, I still get it to this day. And I know you can relate, because I think that's one of the biggest, like, walls you have to get over is the criticism. And once and it's perception too. It's like, do I take it as insults? Do I take it as constructive criticism? Or my favorite thing to do, man, is literally just lower the volume. Lower the volume. Like, you could literally just lower the volume. Block out everyone else. And I don't like to call them haters, because everyone says, like, oh, haters are motivators. Haters are haters. Yeah. Motivators
negative
are
energy.
Exactly. Motivators are people who are positive, people who inject that motivation in you, and you go do something with it. So that being said, obviously that's a lot, but I think that has to go around with my equation of happiness, where I feel comfortable with myself.
So you say it's a combination of internal and external?
Yes, it's definitely a combination. And a balance of a combination. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. What do you think? Obviously, we'll elaborate more, but I
definitely agree 100% on... It's funny. You know how I told you... This is kind of funny out of context, but this morning, I had a really interesting morning. So, to give, like, a little story behind it is, on Mother's Day, my mother and I went to a concert. It was Luis Miguel, Mexican legend, and I was like, okay, I'll go with my mom just, for the experience. And I wasn't thinking about it much, but dude, like, I think it's the universe, or you just when you're ready, the lessons will appear. So we're there and we're sitting down waiting for the concert to start. And I was sitting in my chair like, and my leg was like directly proportioned to my side. I wasn't crossing over to the chair, but another man sat next to me and he came in pretty. I felt like pretty authoritative. He was. We were rubbing legs, but like I was like pretending I was looking or feeling it. I held my ground.
You were rubbing legs,
Like not like rubbing, but like
yeah.
It was there, and then I was like hell no, like, my ego, whatever, and then he did his thing. We started talking, and then throughout the concert, I just started talking. Like I was like, "Oh, what's up, man? Where you from?" Blah 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 blah. And it turns out he was a detective. And then, long story short, we became like,
Contact.
Yeah, contacts exactly. But fast forward, that was in May. No, yeah, Mother's Day is in May.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to today, what's August 13?
Yeah.
14. And yeah, he's like, he texted me the other day. He's like, hey, you want to meet up? I'm like, yeah. And then, yeah, we met up, and this guy's fascinating, dude. Like, I think I would call him a mentor. And he was just telling me some stuff. And then one of the reason I even brought him up is because he was talking, and he gave me, he's like, man, to find fulfillment, you gotta stop seeking external. You gotta really focus on the internal. But like you said, it's a combination of both. I'm sure he didn't just mean eradicate external validation.
Yeah,
but when he said that, I was like, yes, I agree 100%. I think internal gives you that fulfillment and the foundation that it's like, it comes down to, if I don't love myself, then who will?
Exactly.
So if you take care of yourself first, you develop yourself first, you are able to express and create that social environment, and even spread further.
I think it gets tricky, man. It gets tricky because let's talk about what kind of stops you from balancing that. And I think the biggest one, man, personally, is ego, man. Because if you're too egotistic, you'll start having a misinterpretation of what love is, what self-love is, and actually just what love is when you have an intimate relationship with someone, whether it's a friendship, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever it is. I think the ego mixed with pride and mixed with, unawareness is just like a recipe for like disaster and delusion. So you're going to be perceiving a life that is probably normal to 99% of the people out there, but at the same time, like, you're going to be like okay with it. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
So
it's kind of like I can see what you mean when you have those ingredients. You create a formula. I see that as a dark area.
Exactly.
If you're ignorant, you got a big ego, and like if you make mistakes constantly and you blame everyone, you just don't take accountability for the errors in your life. Exactly. You create this perception, persona that you can't fix it if you're not aware of it. It's like you have a hole in your boat.
Exactly.
Well, you're not aware that there's a hole in the boat until it's too late. That's what happens with most people, that there's a persona or how they view themselves. It's kind of too late for the most part. That's why I love that quote. It says, we're too soon old, too late smart.
Exactly. I kind of want to piggyback off of that, because the first thing that came to mind was the fact that, okay, I'm 22. 10 you're going to be 20? 21?
I'm 20. I'll be 21 in February.
Okay, so whatever, 20, 21, 22. But the thing is, my whole point is, like, our brains are plastic. Our brains are so malleable that by the time, like, okay, once we get into 40, then it's a little harder, but that doesn't make your brain not plastic. The thing is just the connections are harder. But me being 22 is like, I could learn something in the next month, and it becomes a habit, whether it's a good one or a bad one. Obviously, I'm going to go seek the good ones so that I know, okay, in a month, I'll get these good habits. And it happens so quickly, and almost you're subconscious of it, because it's like, dude, like, that was so easy. Like, I can't believe I was doing that bad habit, and now this is good. So that being said, is like, your brain is so malleable that when you start learning what love really is, and like in a good way without delusion and becoming aware, it's easier at this age. It's easier now than it is when you're, let's suppose you're 40. Not saying that, your brain stops working, but
yeah, like
it's plastic, bro.
The compound effect in the book, he gives the story of the wise man going on a walk with the people.
Oh yeah,
do you remember that
one? I think I do.
So it's a wise man. It's a story. The wise man, he's with his pupil, his student. They're walking down a forest, and the wise man tells the kid, "Hey, pull out that tree." And it's a little sapling. It's a tiny tree. It's probably a foot long or something. And the kid just yanks it out. So they keep walking down, and then the wise man tells the kid, "Hey, pull out this tree." And this time it's bigger. And then the kid, with some effort, gets it out, and they keep going. And then again, hey, pull out this tree, and this tree was the size of the kid, and the kid like just struggled and used all his strength to get this one out, and then the wise man is like, pull this tree, and he's pointing to an oak tree, and the kid is like, I can't do that, like that's impossible. And what the wise man told him is straight like you know, like you could just imagine like with the voice, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. He says, you see, my son, what you just saw is the power of habit. The longer and the older they get, the stronger they get. So that's essentially what he's saying. And the neurological sense, like, this is why, like, you know, you can understand that. You can understand that parable. But I love understanding the how, the science, and the neurology is the neuroplasticity. Is when your brain has the synapses and neuron connections that fire together, wire together, and then they just bundle up and they start fortifying. And like your habits are based off your identity and all that stuff, but like you said, you are made out of habits, and we reinforce them subconsciously most of the time, man. Especially the bad ones and good ones. That's what I'm saying though. Like, I noticed that some of the good habits that I ended up doing, just almost like I put my mind to it. Harder. Exactly, they're harder. But do you ever notice that, okay, I'm gonna put my mind to it to get rid of this habit and make it a good habit, you know? So you see the black and white, right? Even that could be subconscious, because like, okay, the first part is the will. You have to have a will to change it, right? But after you have the will, it's almost like seamless, where it's like, dude, I eliminated that bad habit. It's so easy to be the good habit or do the good habit. You know what I mean? And from personal experience, man, and this is, I think this all ties in with happiness, bro, because you start noticing that when you do have good habits, man, it's so easy to be happy. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's just so easy. Like, you could actually say like, I'm happy. And what I mean by that, you know, again, it's going to be very personal, but I noticed my biggest flaws, man, were my time management and my prioritization, bro. Once I got those, like, locked in, like, literally by the throat, dude, it's so easy to make time for everything. It's so easy not to be late to things. It's so easy to communicate. That's another thing, communication. If you're going to be late to something, you're not going to show up, you know, whether it's 5 minutes before or an hour before, hey, man, I can't make it. Why? Because of this and this and this. Not because, like, you lost track of time. But the thing is, when you have your time management, you haven't, you know, you can't predict the future, right? But you can only plan for it. But it's like sometimes when I, you know, Tin, like, let's meet up, let's go to Starbucks. And like, you know, I've canceled on him like 5 minutes before. Why? Because something else came up. You know what I mean? An emergency or something that I totally forgot about. And I needed to prioritize that first before, you know? Yeah. So, like you said, those are like the habits you became aware of and you try to make them better. Yeah. Bro. So for whoever's watching or listening, I want to give a few, but let's go towards a very, I like to call like tactical, like stuff that they can implement right off the bat, and rather than the philosophy and the abstract of things, they can just, you know, do these things and essentially get the feedback. So on happiness, what can you just do, make it a habit, and it make you happiness? Well, it's well known in the science and the areas. I'll give two. There's meditation, is being very mindful, whether you're breathing, you're just mindful of everything. And then another great habit is gratitude. These, I mean, I'm not perfect in these areas, but I've been implementing them little by little, and I have seen the difference. It's like before I go to bed, I'm like, oh man, like I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful this happened. And they say the more specific you are, the better. So it's like, instead of I'm grateful I have family and friends. Well, like, I'm grateful Luis is down to do these videos, that we're able to do this. We have this great environment. I know a lot of people aren't able to do so. So once you do this, you start picking it up, happiness, and it's not going to come overnight, but these are the good habits. And yeah, like I said, meditation, huge one, and then gratitude. You got any more?
I think, bro, like for just happiness, bro, I think one of the hardest ones too is canceling out the noise, what to filter and what to listen to. And that comes with awareness, because when you're aware, you pick and choose, right? It's the same thing, man. We always talk about this analogy about junk food. There's junk food for the brain. So it's don't be like always observing, like, oh man, I don't know if I could trust this person. Like, you know, be natural, be present, and you'll feel the connection. Like, dude, when me and Tin talk sometimes, like, bro, like, did you feel that, bro? You get drained. Become best friends. Yeah, exactly, man. And that's crazy, bro, because like I've heard you say it before. It's like, bro, even though I'm drained right now, I feel my batteries are recharged, right? So find that environment. But the biggest one, man, is controlling the volumes, man. Like I said, there's going to be people who are going to criticize you. There's going to be people who are envious, who are egotistic, who are not liking what you're doing. Not that you're coming at them. And also just don't let your ego even feed into that. Don't even say, like, you know what? Who cares? Like I'm gonna do something to get back at them, blah, 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 blah. Like, that itself already is egotistic.
Yeah.
Once you put your ego to sleep, man, dude, it's so easy to control the volumes, man. And that's not being fake. It's just being self-conscious of yourself. Like, okay, I'm doing this because I want to. I'm not doing anything bad. You know what I mean? But it gets confusing because, you know, you have your so-called friends who will either lie to you to make sure you're happy, or will be like, hey, dude, they're doing something wrong here. I'm just telling you, man. I love you, and it's like, I'm not saying to change. I'm not trying to change you, but it's like, bro, I think if you change this, you know. So it's like if I told Tin, like, there's something that, hey, bro, there's something that I think you've been wanting to change, but you've been consistent on not doing it. Have you this self reevaluate, bro? Like,
yeah, like,
you know,
calling out the flaws, and if they get upset, then it's like, correct the wise man, you make a friend. Correct an ignorant person, you make an enemy.
Exactly.
But two things out from what you said, I think I can narrow down further. So like I said, toning down the volume. Two things that I've done that, dude, changed my life is, I'll start easier. One is just deleting my social media apps. I'm big on that. I don't know if you've done that experiment. Carlos has done it. My brother's done it. I tell people, just delete your Instagram, delete your Twitter. Don't delete your account. Delete the app so you can just pop up right off the bat. But
I haven't done it.
Dude, social media, it's Candyland for our brain, but they call it, Jim Quick, he said,
crazy guy,
Facebook depression. I mean, not just Facebook, but all social media platforms. We're comparing ourselves, like, oh, he's doing that, and that's huge. That's another one. Do not compare yourself. That's so toxic. But it's inevitable on social media. That's the thing. I've tried it. I try to go on social media. Like, I see something, I'm like, that's cool. But subconsciously, I do it. So I'm like, you know, I'm not even gonna be big. I mean, these corporations are $1 billion for a reason, because they know how to hijack our attention and influence us. And the second thing is, like you said about your friends, creating the right social environment. This is so critical. Like, every book you read on social environment, say your social peers, your circle of influence is so important for your life, for your happiness.
Exactly.
What's that number? The Dunbar's number. It says humans evolved in tribes of 150. So the 150 people in your life are so important that you gotta be extremely careful of, like, who you even let in. Now that's 150, but of course we got our circle, which is probably like 5-10 people. And if you cut down, and I mean, this is where it gets a little bit, you know,
it's tricky, bro.
Yeah, you can cut down or you can help create that environment. I think that's the long route, but it's truly the most beneficial, because we have friends, lifelong friends, that they just are a certain type of person. It's difficult to change them, like you said. But yeah, hey, bro, like,
but you don't want to change them. That's the thing. It's like, rather
like impact.
You just
them.
Want to impact them.
Exactly. So, you know, if you truly believe that you can impact them for the better, spread your will, spread your awareness, and you intuitively believe it'll benefit them, then it'd be ethically wrong not to help them. Exactly. So if you can help your social environment, I mean, I did it with Carlos. Carlos was like, hey, bro, you got to start reading. You got to do Thai 67 steps, et cetera, et cetera. And he's very thankful for that. And then, you know, we created this environment that, boom, it just started snowballing. And then it's an amazing thing. I can tell you this, like, back to gratitude. I'm grateful that I got this social environment. So that's bro. Huge.
And that's the thing, bro. I'm so grateful for that, too, because I remember, man, like, the first night we just started grinding, bro. It's like, bro, it took one night, man. It literally happened overnight. Now everything happens overnight, and most things don't. But the thing is, I just felt it. Once you feel that, the vibe, literally the vibe, I think everyone has a perception of vibe, man. Like, oh, don't mess up my vibe. Don't kill my vibe. Oh, bro, like, good vibes. Like, bro, but it's literally a thing, bro. Quantum physics is a thing. Exactly, man. So it's like, I felt it, bro. We stayed up till 3 a.m. I don't know if you remember that, bro. I saw Carl at Wingstop, and he's like, hey, I'm just gonna go to Tins to go grind, or at Javi's, I'm gonna go grind. I'm like, oh, for sure. And we started working. I'm like, bro, like, it got to 3 a.m. and it's like, I remember dropping off Tin. He's like, good shit, man. And that was it, bro. I just wanted to grind. So it's like, it's so crazy. The thing is, like, a lot of people a lot of people don't understand that. But one thing that I find, like, once you find those relationships, and, like, with everyone I have, like, my family, you know, you, the guys, and, like, my girlfriend, it's like, it's all integrity, bro. Once you find that integrity baseline, It's so easy. That's the thing, because I know you were talking about how like pick your environment, but I think it's tricky. It's tricky because I think sometimes you get too observant, and then sometimes you become too like, you set these high expectations,
Yes.
and it's like these unrealistic high expectations where it's like you're never gonna allow yourself
Or
to
accept these people.
exactly. So it's like it's hard. So
Yeah.
be patient, but also be present in the sense where like, okay, this guy has good energy. You know, I'm not critiquing him. The thing is, once we get closer, it's like reevaluate each other. I saw an impact theory video where I forgot his name, man, but Tom was talking to him and he said like, what do you do like with your friends? And one thing he said was like, dude, sometimes we hang out on weekends and we just literally get in a circle, like 7 or 8 friends, he said, and we just, each one of us evaluates each other. Like, I like this part about you, I don't like this part about you, but it's not, it's very like, it's neutral. You're not attacking the person, you're just, you're helping it.
That is a huge sense of maturity.
It is, bro.
I think that's why it's very difficult, because it's just to maturity. Like, to be able to look at your friend in the eye and give him something that's gonna smack him in the face, smack their ego.
Exactly.
For you to be able to do that, and for them to be able to receive it and just not like want to retaliate on you, like, actually be grateful you're doing so.
Exactly, bro.
That's maturity. That's some advanced stuff.
It's crazy, bro, because think about it, man. Just kind of sit back and kind of, the thing is, like, you have those people that care about you. That's why it gets tricky, because you want to be careful with who your friends are and who they're telling you or how they're telling you it, right? Because a lot of envy and there's a lot of factors, a lot of confound variables. Like in science, it's called confound variables, meaning that there's a lot of different things that could be the reason because they're doing that. But, you know, dude, sometimes I say it with Tin, with Carl, and we just talk about certain things, but we're unbiased and we're very neutral, man. If he says like, hey, Luis, like, you messed up on this website, like, bro, you just really messed it up. Like, dude, I'm not gonna sit there like, what the heck, bro, this website's good, and then I go check it out, like, dude, and I know I messed up. I'm not, that's my ego talking. Cause like, who are you to tell me that I messed up? You know what I mean? But it's like, nah, bro, honestly, accountability, that's the thing, bro. That's the word, accountability. Like, sit there, take the constructive criticism, make sure you know yourself also, but it's like, you're not gonna attack. I'm not gonna attack him. Like, who are you to tell me like what the heck I'm doing wrong? Cause he knows, you know, me and my potential. You know, that's where like he's being positive, but it's like, dude, you messed up, this and this happened, right? Same thing with, you know, with relations. Me and my girlfriend, bro, could sit for hours, bro, and just talk about things, not just like about each other, but just like just different things, bro. I noticed we don't just talk about stupid stuff, bro. Like our conversations, we could spend 3 hours, bro, in the car and just like, or at her house or my house, and like it's productive, bro. I'm feeding my mind, bro. She's picking my brain, I'm picking hers, and we're just like there, like, damn, bro, I'm tired, but you know, and then we cuddle, like, but it's like it's the same thing though, bro. Like, we could sit there and like, hey, babe, like, I know you said you wanted to work on this. Like, I'm just kind of checking in with you. Vice versa. Hey, Luis, like, you said you were going to change this. Like, you know, bro. And it's like,
that's the environment.
It's refreshing, bro.
And then back to the subject of happiness. I think that's one of the most critical points. Critical points, man. What else? I feel like I want to ask you to give one more, like, nail, kick in the truth about happiness,
man.
And this could be very subjective, but
okay,
like recently, you know what I found, like, there's so much information inside your head sometimes that, like, when you get asked these questions, it's difficult to put a
finger on it.
Yeah, exactly. You know? So what I found is that what has been working recently, like as of today, what did like the thing give you most happiness?
The thing, okay, so that's a good one, man. Like, there's a lot that you said, there's a lot of information, but recently, man, it's two things. Communication. The fact that I could communicate with the people around me, my priorities, my family, my sister, my mom, the guys, my girlfriend, the ability to communicate how I feel and knowing they won't judge me about what I feel or think, just literally like kind of airing out, but it's just like, I'm talking to people that understand me, that are not gonna say like, they're gonna tell me what they think as well, but not in a way where like, dude, you're messed up, or like, bro, like, get out of that, you know? You have low days, so it's like communication that makes me happy. The fact that I could talk to these people and them just listen and tell me what they think and like, you know, call it a day. Like, now they know my mind, right?